Now we come to the bread and butter part of this whole thing, which is the brainstorming part. This is where you're going to earn your money. And the reason I say that is because brainstorming is the hardest thing in the whole world. It is so difficult to sit in a room with someone or even by yourself and just kind of stare into space and think of ideas and things to say. Often you will come up with nonsense. That's okay. That's totally part and parcel of the whole process. You will come up with your first ideas, which we call first-based ideas. Those are ideas that tend to be a little bit on the obvious side. That's okay as well. But it's important when you start brainstorming to fire up your stimulators, to really get your creative juices flowing. Many people have different ways of doing that. For this purposes, in order to have your stimulators going, you have to have absorbed the brief that you've just gone through, what the major challenges are, what your core message should be. So in our case, our main challenge is to get people to try this new J&B variant called J&B Urban Honey, which is a whiskey that's infused with honey. Our core message is that this is a combination of two different things mixed together that resulted in something amazing. And that's what we're going to be playing off of. Who we are attracting with this message, it's a wider audience. As we said, the whiskey segment is shrinking and we need to appeal to a wider set of people. With a honey-infused whiskey, hopefully the taste profile will be appealing to a lot more people. And with our messaging, hopefully we attract a lot more people as well. So let's start with the brainstorm. Like I said, at this point, you're going to come up with a bunch of nonsense. So we're not aiming for perfection here. We're just trying to get thoughts onto a piece of paper. So let's start with writing the name of the product, which is Urban Honey. Then we'll also try to include J&B's positioning line, which is made different. And as the brief mentioned, we want to stick with this strategy. Made different will just be a guide for us. It's not going to be our final idea, but it's important to just have that here so that it informs our thinking. So let's put a circle around that. Okay, so what do we know about what's special about this whiskey? We know that it's a mixture of two different things coming together. That's the interesting part. We've got honey. We've got blended Scotch whiskey. Things that probably don't really belong together. Is that a thought? Something that don't belong together, but when they come together, it forms an interesting result. So let's write that. Unexpected or surprising greatness, maybe. So, surprising greatness, is that something, perhaps? And remember, at this stage, we're not aiming for the final thing to say. We're just putting thoughts and ideas. So, surprising greatness, maybe it doesn't really feel good to me right now, but let's have it there anyways. We know that this is a sweet tasting honey. So, something around sweetness, sweeter than before. Or what about life sweeter together? What else can we think of about this whiskey? It is targeted to a more wide variety of different kinds of people. So let's think of ways we can write that. So maybe there's something that we can combine with the word different in there because of made different. So for a different kind of social setting. I don't know, we're just getting words on paper for now. For a different kind of social setting. What about a whiskey that speaks to you? So at this point, you might be thinking, oh, you know, that you're kind of going around in circles, you're kind of just writing random things. That is exactly what it's like in real life. It's being totally random. It's not really landing anywhere. But this is the beginning part of it. So it's important to go through the motions of all of this. And like I said, Don't edit yourself at this point, just get it all out there. In the real world, you will be working with someone when brainstorming. So you'll be bouncing ideas of another person. That person will be bouncing the ideas of you. So you'll have a slightly different dynamic in the real world. But for the purposes of this lesson, that's just me and you, or I'm talking to you and coming up with ideas on my own. Just remember that when you are doing this for your final project, perhaps you might want to bounce your ideas off a friend or family member, or you might want to go it alone, but it's entirely up to you. I think it would be better for you to work with someone and share ideas with someone and have a dialogue with someone. It's always better in that scenario. So let's get back to our brainstorming. What have we got? We've got, it's a honey-infused whiskey. It's surprising greatness. It's a whiskey that's sweeter than before. Life sweeter together. It's for a different kind of social setting. It's a whiskey that speaks to you. Are any of these ideas really sparking off other ideas? We have to ask ourselves. Maybe life sweeter together sounds like it could be something in that maybe. You're talking about the taste profile of it being sweet. You're talking about the collaborative spirit of enjoying it with friends, life sweeter together. A very positive message. But is that the right message? Maybe. We'll see. What about the fact that it mixes two things together? Maybe get the word mix in there. Made different, mix. Is it mixed different, perhaps? Maybe it is a mixed surprise. The whiskey is mixed, but it's also for a mixed social setting. So is there a way that we can combine those two different thoughts? Maybe live the remix? That sounds kind of nice. And when you're talking about remix, you're talking about music, so perhaps you include music into your idea there somehow. Okay, so we've kind of got a page full of ideas. Where have we landed is what you should be asking yourself. Is there anything worthwhile that you want to carry forward? Maybe there's some ideas on this page that we can work with and develop. So now we'll start by creating a mind map. And a mind map is a useful tool when coming up with creative ideas because it kind of trains your brain to associate different things with more different things. You start by point A and you don't know really where you're going to end, but you can go as far as you want and end up in an interesting place. What is different between brainstorming and a mind map? Well, nothing really. A mind map is just a way of brainstorming. It's a way to fire up the chemicals in your brain to get you thinking of ideas and kind of to help you shake the dust from your brain in a way to get you thinking of things that you weren't possibly thinking of before. It's free association. So that's kind of a cool tool to use if you're just freestyling with different thoughts in your head. What we'll do is we'll start again with a central core message in the center, and then we'll branch off from there, and then those branches will sprout branches of their own, and we'll see where we land. So what I've just shown you is a very, very condensed version of a brainstorm. In reality, you will spend upwards to a week, maybe a few days at least, in a room with your creative partner coming up with ideas, and you'll fill reams and reams of pages full of ideas and put them all over your office. So that's just to show you how to brainstorm, how to write down ideas, but in reality, you'll have way more than this. Now let's start with our mind map. Let's start in the center. We write new J&B, urban honey, put a circle around that. Now let's take one characteristic of this and branch off from there. So it's a honey-infused whiskey. Let's start with that. Honey whiskey. Where can we branch off from there? It's more of a mixed whiskey, isn't it? So let's write down the word mix. Mix leads to good mix of people. Maybe it's mix turns into a blend because J&B is a blend, so it's a good blend. Remember, it's just free association of words at this point. It also combines two things for a great result, so let's put that down. Combination of two great things equals great result. So combination of two different things for a great result. I guess you could say that it's unexpected greatness, or greatness happens when you least expect it. Expect. I think that is enough for the one branch. Let's try another branch. Let's take the fact that it has a sweet tasting profile. So sweet, it's maybe more palatable. Palatable, maybe it's smooth, easy on the lips. If it's easy on the lips, then maybe it's good to savor. It's savor the moments with your good friends. Maybe you could say that life is sweeter together. So life is sweeter together. That's a nice place to land. Let's take another branch. We know that J and B is made different. So is there something with the train of thought of being different? Different, you kind of need to be daring. So do you dare to be different? Do you dare? Do you challenge? Do you challenge the norms, challenge society, challenge the convention? If you're challenging the norms and you're being different, you beat your own drum. J&B is made different, you're beating your own drum, you're challenging the norms. It's a pure collaborative spirit. Okay, pure collaborative spirit. That's good. Let's try one last train of thought. Remember that this whiskey is also trying to be more inclusive. So if it's more inclusive, maybe you see yourself. Everyone might like it. Enjoy. It's for the curious and the adventurous. I guess you can get away with the idea that this whiskey kind of breaks social barriers. Remember, we don't want to be too lofty with our promises. So when you say something like break social barriers, you have to be relevant, you have to be truthful in that somehow. The fact that this whiskey is a new tasting whiskey, it's infused with honey, it's meant for a different kind of whiskey drinker. So in this case, we can say that it's breaking social barriers. And if you're breaking social barriers, you're mixing socially, you're perhaps remixing your social scene. That sounds kind of nice, remix your social scene. That's a good place to end it. I think we've got a lot of different good variations of things we can touch on. As you can see, it looks a little bit chaotic, but there's method to the madness, as they say. What we will do now is we will take a distilled version of this, all the things that we liked from this, the places where we ended up, and then we'll use that to further develop them and come up with ideas and flesh them out in the next part. So let's see where we ended up with our mind map. We have greatness happens when you least expect it. Then we have life is sweeter together. Then we have pure collaborative spirit. And then we have remix your social scene. Okay, so we've got 4 different strains of ideas that we can explore. For me, when I see these ideas now on paper, the one that jumps out at me most is number 4, remix your social scene. Remember, it has all 3 of the ideas built into this one because you're talking about the pure collaborative spirit, you're remixing things, talking about life is sweeter together, the social aspect of it. You're remixing your social scene, but you're also kind of remixing what you're used to, you're remixing the norms. So the greatness part is when you least expect it. I think what we can do now is let's focus on remix your social scene, and we'll come up with different iterations, different ways of saying that, because maybe the idea is better if you simplify it. So let's try that. Let's start with mix it your way. Number 2, Is it Live the Remix, maybe? Do you ask patrons to like remix the night? There was something nice also about the sweet life, life is sweeter together. Is there something that we can build or combine the two of remixing the social scene and the sweet life into something? Is it made for the sweet life? Using the social aspect of it, is it maybe something different than the ones we have before? So something like Come Together. Made different, there's something we can play around with that. Remix your social scene made different, so maybe it's made mixed. Or is it perhaps made for the mix? Sometimes you have an idea and you just add like a preposition or a small word, and it really makes the whole difference to the idea. So made for the mix. That last one's interesting to me because made for the mix, how do you unpack that? First of all, it sticks to the strategy of made different, made for something else. So it's in line with that. It's made for the mix. So you're taking something like a whiskey and a honey, which is unexpected. You're combining it for something amazing. It's made for that. And like we said, remix your social scene. It's made for a mix of different people and personalities all coming together to have an amazing time. So it kind of works on so many different levels, which is really great. So when you feel comfortable that you have ideas to flesh out, it's important to remember that you need to also try and make your ideas tangible for your audience. So what do I mean by tangible? If your message only exists on a billboard, for example, that's fine, but there's going to be a bit of a disconnect. You need to try and make your idea come to life and have resonance and relevance amongst your target audience. So we need to think of ways that we can go out there and engage with our audience with our ideas. Do we host an exclusive night for someone and their closest friends where we feature some cool DJ or musician? Do we invite people to upload themselves singing something and then we mix it with another person singing to create this new sound and this new track? It could be literally anything, but you need to try and stimulate your audience into action so that they can engage with your brand and their product in a fun way. So let's try and explore that.